Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show where we love Seattle pro sports. I'm your host, Mikey, and today I am bringing you another Seattle Seahawks 7 round mock draft. Before we get into this one, though, I have to bring this up because it's been bugging me a little bit. Because it's been brought up in multiple of the mock drafts that I have done. So we're going to look at this, okay? Here we are. We're looking at the Fitzgerald Spielberger NFL Draft Trade Value Chart. Okay, I think this is the chart that's most accurate that people are using, and organizations are using today. Jimmy Johnson started this whole thing, but there's a handful of value charts that have been made sense and get used by organizations. This one seems to be like updated and more accurate to the way the value is looked at in today's NFL. So I just wanted to point something out here, okay? Because a lot of these times when the Seahawks are trading down, that means another team is wanting to trade up to get into that position because they really want a player, right? They really want a player at a certain position. Sometimes that means the team that is moving up is giving up value. It doesn't always mean when a trade happens in the NFL draft, the trade doesn't always come out to be equal to 0 when the trades are made. Quite often, it is not that because the team that has the pick, they know they're giving up a valuable player. So that's the only problem with these value charts and only looking at the value charts when you are making these trades. Okay, so when you do that, you're not taking into the account the player and the position that the team trading up is going after, plus other teams that might potentially be wanting to trade for that spot as well. And even if I was a Seahawks and a team called me and said, "Hey, you have that pick number 16, we want it," what are the Seahawks going to say when they get that first offer? They're not going to say, "Okay, yeah, we'll just take that first offer." Even if there is actually nobody else calling, I'm going to say, "Well, I have 3 other teams calling me right now. The offer you're giving me, it sounds nice, but I have to take into consideration these other offers. So can you sweeten that deal any bit more? Can we make it a little bit better, or is that all you can do?" And if I'm the Seahawks, I am trying to get more value out of it. I'm not. If I'm the Seahawks and the team is wanting to trade up to where I am, I'm not thinking, "Oh, I have to get this to 0." If I'm the Seahawks, I'm thinking, I want to get as much value out of this as I can. And if we're looking at just the value chart itself and where these values are, and if you're thinking, "Oh, well, a fair trade is equal to 0," just look at the value chart, okay? Pick 1 is 3,000 points. Pick 7 is 2,000 points. That means the team that has pick 7, they have pick 38 in the second round. Okay, so alone, just these 2 picks alone, pick 7 and pick 38 combined, would be 100 points more than 100 points more than the value of pick 1. But if I'm the Chicago Bears, do you think if Tennessee Titans call them and say, "Hey, we want to trade with you for that number 1 pick, we'll give you pick 7 and pick 38 in this year's draft," do you think that's going to be enough for the Bears to jump at that? They'll say, "Oh, we're gaining 157 points." No way. That's going to be nowhere near enough. Again, it's not uncommon to see 200, 300, 400 up to 800 points value difference in trades on draft day because teams are going after a certain player. So you have to take the player into account, the position into account, and any competition there might be in trading for that spot. Okay, so I am going to run this mock. I will try to, take a look at the trade offers and see, how realistic they are. If they're like way wild, then I'll adjust it. I'll manually adjust it. But if it's not too wild, then I'm not going to do anything because that's how the draft works. Okay, so let's get into this thing. Let's get this started. And again, we're getting close here, so we're looking at seeing what happens here and if there's anything that we might want to do. So the only trade offer that we get here is Seahawks pick. Let's see here, our 16 and our 118, and then let's take a look here. So Miami is the team that is offering us a trade, and they would send us 21 and 55. Okay, let's take a look. What is the difference here? So again, this difference, it's 249 points. So the Seahawks are gaining value. 249 points. Let's take a look. That would be the equivalent of pick 228. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to say, oh my gosh, I can't. This possibly wouldn't happen in real life because there's a 249 point difference in value. No, if the Dolphins want to move up to 16 and they really want somebody there, then yeah, they're going to have to give up some value. Again, even if they were the only team that was offering a trade, if I'm the Seahawks, do you think I'm going to tell them that? No way. But let's take a look at who's actually on the table here. There's Jared Verse, Troy Fatanu, Mims, Latham, Thomas, Newton, Murphy, Robinson, Cooper DeJean, Barton, Powers Johnson. Yesterday, we took Fatanu at 16. He's still a player that I would stick and pick. I would be happy with that decision if they went ahead and did it, because I would say, okay, we're getting a great offensive lineman there that can play tackle for you, that can play guard for you. He can do it all, and he's going to be good in whichever position he plays. So I would be happy with it. But I want to make more impact throughout this draft. So I am going to take this trade with Miami. Okay, and we are going to move back, and that does mean that we're passing up on some good players. Let's see. I also the other thing is, yeah, I also would. In reality, I would not. I would not be opposed to trading with a in division rival if it's worth it. So I would possibly actually look at a trade with what we're seeing right here with the Arizona Cardinals. I would think about it if I wanted to get more value, because then you're talking about picking up. You're moving back again, still in the first round, but you're picking up a third round pick. A trade here with New England. We move all the way out of the first round into the second round, but then we pick up a beginning of the third round pick and a 2025 fifth. Baltimore. We trade with them. We move back to 30. Then we get the 62, so the end of second round, and a 2025 sixth. Again, still intriguing to trade back one more time. Because again, Jared Verse is still there, but just it's to me, it's not a big enough need to take an edge player here when I can say I can get edge player later, but I can get more value throughout this draft and fill multiple positions and multiple needs throughout this. Byron Murphy, the same deal. As good as he might be, I'm thinking I want to add more throughout this draft. Okay, so here, what I'm going to do is I am going to take this trade with Baltimore. Actually, I like the position where we were moving back to the end of the first round, but I like picking up that end of the second round pick. And then they throw in the 2025 sixth round pick. Okay, like I'm happy with that. So let's go ahead and accept this one. This will be our second trade here in the first round, and here we go. Let's see. Now there's a few players here that I would take. Cooper DeJean, again, is still a player. If you got him here at pick 30, again, I think if he didn't break his leg in November, we're talking about a top 15 pick, a pick that wouldn't be available to you at 16. Okay, in my eyes, the way that I think the draft is going to play out in reality, I don't think Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix are going to be here. So it's interesting to see the mock put him here, and it's kind of interesting in general because I still see like some of the big time professional mock drafters also pushing Penix and Nix both out of the first round still, and it just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm ignoring those guys, but right now I'm looking at Cooper DeJean and Graham Barton. We've taken Cooper DeJean once in one of these options, so the choice I'm going to go with here is Graham Barton. Again, they list him at center here as he could be a possible center, but he's done it all throughout his college career. He has played center, he has played guard, he has played tackle. For us, we need him to come in and play guard. And if you're getting him at pick 30, then you're happy about that. You're getting it. You're doing it. And then our next pick is coming at 55. And okay, so now some good choices here still. Again, we can address multiple things here. We got Rook Aurora. We got Cameron Kinchins, the safety. We got Michael Hall Jr., Braylon Trice, Chris Jenkins, Malachi Corley, Peyton Wilson. Let's see, Cedric Gray, Brandon Dorless. Oh, if you heard that Troy Fatanu interview on 710 with Brock and Sock yesterday, my goodness, that was such a good interview. That's another interview that when I listened to it made me think about the draft that we had done. The previous draft where we took Fontenot at 16 made me feel good about that. I was like, yeah, that is a guy that I would want on my team. But what did Fatanu say? Who did he say his toughest competition was in his college career? Who did he mention? Again, Brock was wondering if he was going to say some of these other the big names at the top of the draft. Fatanu said Brandon Dorless. I'm just saying, and I've taken him here, in 3 or 4 of these different mock drafts that we've done throughout this entire process, and I kind of pointed out how much I like him, and now we're saying, hey, the top player it seems that most people want us to draft. That mock people have us drafting, and then what I hear from fans, and then even like on Pro Football Focus, if you look at their stats, they put out some sort of like stat based thing for each team. Fans when they are doing mock drafts, Fatanu is their like highest drafted player, and then now who does Fatanu said was there his hardest competition? Brandon Dorless. So I'm just saying, don't overlook him. But that's not who we're taking here, because at 55, Junior Colson is available. I know these other linebackers are available, but again, and on this board, they have a couple linebackers ahead of them. But again, Mike McDonald knows him, and it really, for this year on linebackers, it depends on whose board you're looking at. A lot of people do have Junior Colson as the best middle linebacker on the board. It just depends on where you look, and I would think if you're looking at the Seahawks internally, they probably have Junior Colson at the top of their board for the linebackers. So, and Edgerrin Cooper's already gone as well anyway. So let's take Junior Colson here at 55 to make sure we don't miss him. Now we're at pick 62 here, and again, we still have lots of good choices. We're getting Michael Hall Jr. still here, Braylon Trice, Chris Jenkins, Cedric Gray. Let's see, Malachi Corley, Braden Fisk. So yeah, like I said, a lot of good options still. I'm just kind of thinking, kind of based on positions, what else would still be a need here that we can fill while still getting like a top talented player. Marshawn Nealand is here still as well. Brandon Dorless, Cole Bishop, Trevin Wallace is here. He'd be one of your like top outside linebackers to get. Okay, so that I think that's actually where I'm going to go here, because again, all the linebackers that we have signed are on 1-year deals. So if I can get a middle linebacker and an outside linebacker, both considered to be, again, depending on where you're looking, either the top, they're both in the top, 5. Maybe you would say top 3 for their position in the draft. Colson, middle linebacker, and then if you are getting Trevin Wallace, then you're getting your outside linebacker, and you're getting 2 young, hungry linebackers into your system now for Mike McDonald to develop and mold and have around for. They're both are going to be on at least 4-year deals coming out the gate here. And now here we are at pick 81, and we can still keep going here. And filling things. We got Cole Bishop, Jalen McMillan is here, Mason Smith, Blake Corum, Roger Rosengarten, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Keelan Bullock, Dwayne Carter, Tavondre Sweat, and I don't know, here at Dominic Pooney is here. We got Graham Barton earlier. Dadrian Taylor Demerson is a safety I like. James Williams as well. Geez. Making it tough. So basically, where we are right here, I'm thinking Cole Bishop, Jalen McMillan, Rosengarten, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I think those are my top 4 choices, right now, based on what we've already drafted and what was already on our roster going into the draft. So I have to make a tough choice here and decide. Can I get Yeah, can I get I okay. I'm gonna take a chance. Here I'm gonna I think now see, this is where we're getting into, because again, this is one that I'm saying, like, I'm trying to say, okay, if this is what's on the table on the draft for them, this is what I would want them to do. So I'm trying to be a little bit more thoughtful about it now. So Cole Bishop, McMillan, Rosengarten, Trotter Jr. We already took 2 linebackers. I'm actually having a hard. I'm taking Trotter Jr. out. Rosengarten, McMillan, and Bishop. Those are the ones I'm having a tough time deciding between now. I know McMillan. Yes, I know we have DK. We have Tyler. We have JSN. But Tyler's going to be gone soon. You could get somebody like a McMillan, and he'd be filling that role as soon as Tyler walked out the door. But he'd also be good for you, either in the 1 year or the 2 years leading up to that as well. I mean, you're talking about having a really deep receiver room. Whether, and then, if there was any injuries, you don't feel bad about McMillan coming in and stepping in at that position at all. Cole Bishop, I really like him. The thing is, can we still get? That's basically what I'm trying to process here and think about. Can I still get a safety that I really like still later in the draft? And is it worth passing up on Bishop here so I could get a McMillan or a Rosengarten to get more depth for wide receiver or more depth on the offensive line still? That's what that would be the debate at this point. I think this year's draft is so good at the wide receiver position. I don't know when you might get a opportunity to do that again and to have somebody ready to fill in Tyler Lockett's shoes whenever he decides to walk out the door, whether it's after this year or after the next year. So we're going to take McMillan here, and we're going to just bank on the fact that there's still other safeties throughout the rest of this draft that we like, that we can get one of them. Yeah, because there's still multiple safeties on the board that I would like. Okay, so now we've hmm yeah, we've gotten a few good players that fill needs. You know, offensive line, linebackers. Ooh. Can we get more players that fill needs still? That is going to be the question. Mm, okay. There was a trade offer on the table from Atlanta. R102 for their 109 and 187. Okay, I will double check the trade value chart just to see uh what that looks like. Okay, so R102, and then we're talking about the Falcons. Okay, give me just a moment here to pull it up. The Falcons, and then they want to send us their 109 and 187. Okay, let's take a look at the value chart. Again, we gain points off of the trade. We should, because they are coming up for a player they want. It's minimal. Uh so we're gonna accept that. And we're gonna move back a little bit here. And then here we are at 109. Oops. I was like, what happened to all the players? Okay, I forgot I had it looking at players. So we got players like Dwayne Carter still here, Austin Booker, Mike Sanders still, Jaden Hicks, Malik Mustafa, Tyron Hopper, Makai Wingo, and Brandon Coleman. Uh, multiple players here that I still like. Here though is where I will get my next safety that can develop for a year. Can come in and help this year, I think, but then he's going to develop and be ready really to take over a safety position next year when all but one safety will be a free agent on the team. So let's take Malik Mustafa here. All right. And then our next pick isn't coming until 179. And then we have some choices down here with our last four picks to try to fill some needs. Okay. So here we are, and ooh, let's see. I gotta look here. Yeah. Ooh, I was hoping that Mo Kamara was still going to be here at 179. Has already been picked. Uh, I bet you not much before us too. Or somebody did go up and get him. Got him at 162. Okay. So we weren't getting the edge player I was hoping to get here. So let's take a look around and see what else is in here. Evan Williams, Eric All, Xavier Thomas, Hunter Nazad, Maris Leafau, Tanner McLaughlin, Brennan Jackson is there. which okay, so here we are, and I don't out of the players I see available again to bring in more. Hmm. I got to make sure again I don't miss out. Yeah, I got to make sure I don't miss out on another player I want. So got to be because we got three picks kind of close to each other: 179, 187, and 192. But I got to be strategic to make sure I don't miss a player that I want at a position. Okay, so I don't want to, I yeah, I do want to get an edge player. Um, and I don't want to miss out. So I'm going to take one here to fill that need again for more depth. We saw how drastic things can change it if somebody gets hurt, right? So let's go ahead and we'll take. For me, I'll take Brennan Jackson. I'll take Brennan Jackson here out of Washington State. And then our next pick is coming at 187. And okay, I feel good about it. Some of the players I still wanted are still here. For instance, Maris Leafau still here. Tanner McLaughlin still there as well. So, AJ Barner, Sion Vaki. We got choices. For me, I really like Leafau, so I'm going to take Leafau here. And then we'll see here at 192 what else is available. Nerzad. Again, for an offensive lineman down this low, I almost feel like we've signed enough veteran players to be backups now. Do I really need to get one there when I can still get a player like a Tanner McLaughlin, a Tip Raymond, let's see, an AJ Barner, a Sion Vaki. And for me here, again, I will get the second safety. Just because, yeah, Love is going to be a free agent after this season. Everybody else is going to be a free agent too, besides Rayshawn Jenkins. And we haven't actually seen him play yet, so we don't know how much we're going to like him. So we get another safety here. Bring in competition. We get Sion Vaki here at 192. And then at 235 is going to be our last and final pick. And let's see. Let's see what kind of players are available here. Dominic Hampton, Damani Richardson. We've already got enough safeties in the draft. Ryan Watts, Sam Hartman, Darius Musau. So again, I'm looking at. I'm looking at, to me, one of our biggest needs. Obviously, the guard position was, one of the biggest needs for our offense. For defense, it's linebacker, it's safety. We've gotten a couple of middle linebackers here, so I think at this point we're feeling good about the middle linebacker position. We could also feel better about the outside linebacker position, if we wanted to take, um, if we wanted to take Muasau here, and then I think that means you get, you would have a handful of young linebackers um, competing throughout the different linebacker positions, creating depth, creating competition, in this first year for Mike McDonald, which I think would be good for building his program and building the competition in his program to make sure he's getting the best out of players. So that's who I'm going to take here. I'm going to take Darius here, and then let's take a look at the final results here. Again, we made a handful of trades throughout this draft. 2 right at the top of the draft, ended up with pick 30. We get Graham Barton. He will be our starting guard. That would be the plan with him. You got him for 5 years. You got him at the end of the first round, so you got him on a good deal. And then because you made those couple of trades, you got a couple of picks at the middle and end of the second round. You get Junior Colson, you get your linebacker, you get your guy, you get Mike McDonald's guy, you get Trevin Wallace, you get another linebacker. Again, that could make an impact right away. I think both of these linebackers could make an impact right away, and for certain could be making, would be ready to step up in year 2. Now the outside pick here that I went with, pick 81, Jalen McMillan, wide receiver. Definitely not the biggest need at all, but you got a huge contract with DK. You got Tyler Lockett. You're not sure how much longer he's going to be on the team. So you're drafting for the future. And with the talent in this year's draft, you don't want to pass on all of them if you don't have to, and we don't have to because we were able to pick up extra picks in this draft. So we're still going to get, in my eyes, a great receiver talent in this draft, while we already filled our biggest needs with our first 3 picks. We get and McMillan, again, it's a talent that is very good and is very familiar already with Ryan Grubb and his system, obviously. And then we get Malik Mustafa, so we got a safety that I really like, that I think could be fun to see in Mike McDonald's system. We got an edge player for depth and to develop. We'll see how Brennan Jackson works out here. Maris Leofau, same thing, getting more depth and competition in that linebacker room. Sion Vaki, again, I just really love the versatility of this player, and I think that would be good for Mike McDonald's system, and I think Mike McDonald would love the versatility that Vaki has as well. And then Darius Muasau, I think, again, I think he's an underrated linebacker in this draft, so we get him here for depth and to develop as well. And there you go. That again, oh my goodness! Now that I'm getting a little bit more thoughtful about these mocks and trying to come up with what I might actually want them to do, these are taking a lot longer than the other ones. But I hope you stuck around, and then you can let me know now. What do you think of this draft? What would you give the grade on this one if this is how it played out for the Seahawks? At the end of the day, A, B, C, D, F. What would you give this draft? I want to know, again, because we're getting closer. We're getting a little bit more thoughtful and a little bit more serious about looking at each pick and how I want it to go. So, be a little bit more critical if you need to be, if you want to be critical. This is the time to do it. Before, we were just experimenting and taking a look at different players. Now I'm trying to get closer to what I would actually like to see them do. There's still, again, multiple things that I would be happy with, but we're trying to see what those multiple things are. There's only so many things that we would like. So would you like this one? Let me know by hitting that subscribe button, hitting the like button, leaving those comments, and then if you're on podcasts as well, hit subscribe, hit follow, leave a 5-star rating and written review, because that helps the show grow as well. And a reminder as well, don't forget, the plan is on Thursday to do a live watch party together here on YouTube. I'll go live and we'll watch the draft together, and we'll all cross our fingers together and hope that the Seahawks do what we hope they do something we end up liking and don't do something totally insane like draft a running back in the first round of this year's draft. All right, just put that in your reminders or whatever. Okay, and thanks for listening to the Seattle Sports Show, where we watch legends awaken. So take cover, because with a sea of sound you will see us rise to reign supreme and win forever.